Natural religion is based on reason and experience, without dogmas coming from spiritual entities, unlike the religion of revelation, or revealed, which follows doctrines coming from these entities. The objective of what we call millenary natural religion is the individual and collective evolution, being a collective weekly meeting enough for the person to be up to date from the point of view of religious activity. This is especially beneficial for those who have turned away from religions. A meeting of the natural religion can have its practice similar to a Catholic Mass, without its dogmas.
The denomination, Millenary Natural Religion, is appropriate, because the belief is based on logical reasoning, and the word, millenary, mean that its doctrine has been practiced for a long time.
The most important moment of religious activity is when the thought is raised to God, and when we talk about it, usually everyone, including children, knows what it is about. Here we have a difference in relation to other religions. The practitioner must raise his thought to God, instead of asking God to help him in a certain situation, because when asking for help, he can be answered not by God, but by spiritual entities, who after the answer they do not depart from him anymore. We must do good to all people. Some useful activities, derived from yoga, Buddhism, and scientific research, can be practiced by free and personal choice, including meditation, and practices to combat stress, which can also be done with the help of biofidbeck devices. It is also interesting, the reading of selected texts. As we are unable to properly describe the nature of God, let's use the old way of rational Eastern thinking, denial, neither this nor that. So, God does not exist in a way that we know reality, but it is not just an abstraction of the imagination. God does not have life in the sense that human beings do, but our goal, even in the long term and distant, is to evolve spiritually towards Him. We can see here a similarity to the ultimate goals of original Buddhism and original yoga, in which the very word yoga is usually defined as union with God.
The important is that we all have an intuitive sense of God. We believe in the existence of spiritual entities, and that they really interfere in the world, but that, on the contrary, God does not interfere in the world.
Buddhism, until the 19th century, was presented as almost a synonym of natural religion, but in which predominated the concept of God who interferes in the world. Influenced by Christianity, among Buddhists, we find many famous historical figures. The concept of cosmic God should be avoided, as it is used by some dogmatic mystical religious groups, with strange doctrines. On the other hand, Unitarianism currently refers to a kind of generic religion, and some Christians, believing that Christianity is a rational belief, adopted rationalism. The classification of religions into monotheism and polytheism is based on the religions of revelation, and should be avoided. The theology has the same defect.
The doctrine of the millenary natural religion has similarity to that found in ancient texts, of original yoga, and original Buddhism. It is also the approximation of religion and science, which is observed by measuring the brain waves of its most dedicated followers, in certain meditation practices. Some European churches are already adapting their services to the reality of Christ just be a myth.
The practice should follow, partially, that of a traditional religious meeting, which has a great power of interaction in the group. This junction is not new, because when we look for books on, for example, yoga for Catholics, Buddhism for Christians, we find that there are many similar titles. But many of these authors ignore, or do not give due importance, to the difference between natural religion, and religion of revelation, which causes distortions in religious practice. We need to make it clear that, we do not accept guidance from spiritual entities, as God does not communicate with people, but people can spiritually elevate themselves, and approach Him. However, there are spiritual entities that can manifest in special situations, regardless of our will. In these situations, one must analyze, and seek the best way to treat, case by case.
Even though the doctrine of the millennial natural religion is not extensive, it should not be understood as another religion, and that all religions are equally good. Our religion should not be considered as another religion to be followed, but as the only one. Also, some traditional ceremonies can be performed in temples of recognized natural religion, if there is any, perhaps a Buddhist temple.
The ideal natural religion would be for its practitioners to live in communities that are spiritually uplifted, and focused on the well-being of families and singles. The tendency for families to get ever decreasing is also a reason for the selective gathering of friends with the same religion. A community can prioritize the collective interest, decreasing individual ambition, and excessive accumulation of goods as a guarantee of future well-being. To promote the approximation of young people of the opposite sex, the existing communities that have been successful usually promote dances, where only people from the community participate, with a simple type of dance. These communities are self-sustaining, and there are examples of this in some existing ones. The ideal communities are capable of being efficient and practical, with good structure, in which anyone can have comfortable housing, stable employment, well-structured school, efficient medical care, a full security system, and a place of meeting of religion. Anyone who identifies with the natural religion can form a group with compatible people,